After 20 years of building together through dust, deadlines, and damn good ideas, Pace and Adam invite you to join them for honest conversations about the home building world. Welcome to Build Connected, where experience meets insight, powered by Diamond Home Restoration.
Hey guys, welcome back to Build Connected. Good to see you again. Welcome to another episode of our podcast. I'm Pace.
And I'm Adam.
Yeah. All
Here
right.
we
You're
are.
back from vacation. You're in the groove. How are things going with the kids back in school?
Oh, well, today was day one of really photography pictures, and I think they're trying to figure out their schedule. So it didn't really count today, but tomorrow is officially day one of school. And yeah, looking forward to kind of getting back into the school groove. I've got a brand new high school freshman girl and then a junior. So starting to think about colleges, and it's freaking me out.
Yeah, you're almost an empty nester. It's real close. You know, the reason I know school's in is my commute doubled this week, right? The kids are all like everyone's figuring out the get the kids to school thing that they forgot over the summer. So traffic's been an issue, but let's get to learning, right? Let's get
Yeah,
to learning.
watch out for those e-bike gangs. They're back at it. They're
Don't
out.
start talking about e-bikes. It's a plague. All right, what are we going to talk about today?
All right. Well, as we all know, our first segment here is products. So we're going to dive into a product that we just used actually for the first time. I'll be honest. I will admit I'm on Instagram occasionally. I mean, we do have our own Instagram site for Diamond Home Restoration that you all should be following, but I do have a personal one, and I've been coming across a lot of these kind of vertical wall slat boards that come in various lengths and widths, and they're really cool looking. I like the way they look, and I've thought about using them at my house, but haven't quite gotten there yet. But we have a job that we're on. We've talked about it, I think, on a previous episode. We're building a spa area for a client of ours where we have built kind of a ground level deck that is large enough to take on a large sauna and a cold plunge. And we've built kind of two privacy walls on two sides of this deck. And I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for that kind of vertical slat board to be installed. So there's various companies that make these products. We specifically purchased our stuff from a company called WoodUpp.com, I guess, WoodUpp USA, two P's. But I like them because they have an exterior rated product that they provide, and there's 7 or 8 different flavors to choose from in terms of color. But yeah, the product we installed it. It's not super inexpensive. It's kind of an expensive product. We didn't use a ton of it, but because our deck is about 25 inches off the ground, we were able to kind of use this product around the skirting of that deck so you can't see underneath it. And we use it on these two walls as well. And it's beautiful stuff. It really is. It's great. I mean, it's pre-finished, you put it on. So it's an easy install. Even though the product's kind of a little bit expensive, the labor isn't bad at all. They make pre-made inside corners, pre-made outside corners, all the fasteners that you need with it. So anyway, I was pretty pleased with it. I think there's other companies that make a composite exterior rated stuff. What we found is it's actually an exterior rated wood slat that it comes pre-finished. We chose the color black, and it's mounted, comes pre-mounted on like is it paste? Was it aluminum or was it stainless? The backing of it was like a corrugated kind of roofing metal that I think you would say, right?
Well, first of all, would you say wood up? Wood
Wood
up?
Up! Whoa, look at the new commercial for Wood Up. I
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
so. Yeah, it's if you have like standing seam metal roof in your head, you get a good idea of what the backing
Yeah,
is.
but it doesn't look at all like that from the front, right? Those wood slats, all you see is these beautiful kind of 1.5 inch by inch and a half wood slats that are mounted on black metal. So you have kind of these beautiful gaps. But maybe
Yeah, I know you've been kind of chomping at the bit to use this for a while, and you're right. It is really, really nice looking. And it installed pretty easy. You get a very similar look to like a board and bat. I think there might be some advantages with like the durability of it, just the way it's mounted to the metal. I think it might wear nice in the long term. It definitely is more expensive than if you just did a layered board and bat sort of look. And there were a couple of tricks around staircases, how it trimmed out. I'm super happy with the way it turned out on this project, but I think that there were a couple of learning challenges along the way.
Yeah,
Those are my only quick thoughts.
we'll put some pictures up on Instagram too. Maybe you'll put a picture up with this. But yeah, we'll see how it wears. I mean, it gets blasted with sun back there. I mean, the advantage of the color that we chose being black is, uh, a nice solid black stain can easily touch the stuff up. So, yeah, our client absolutely loves it, and yeah, only time will tell. But so far, so good.
Yeah, nice. All right. This week I'm going to talk about something a little different, not anything regulation related, just more a choice that contractors and homeowners make on how they run and build their jobs. So I'm going to talk about the difference really between fixed bids and cost plus billing. And
Wood
we're going to take
up! Sorry,
wood up.
it
That's
was in
right.
my head. It was in my
Yeah.
head. Keep going.
Um, So let's start off with some definitions. We're going to take a minute and we're just going to talk about this because homeowners always ask about this. And I think that if we can just make some clear definitions, then you'll have a better idea of how both of them work, pros and cons, maybe to both. So let's start with a fixed bid. A fixed bid, the way we look at it, is we are giving you a price for the plans that are presented to us. So as we work through our pre-construction process, we are taking all of the details, all of those blueprints, and we are estimating how long it'll take us to do the work on the page. We put a fixed price to that, and that is what we bill. So if there are changes to those plans along the way, we have a document that we can reference and create a change order, but we are putting a fixed bid to a fixed set of plans. Now, you could compare that with cost plus, which is if you were to think about time and materials, right? Like how much labor costs, say, per day or per hour, right? And the clock starts running when you're working, and then there is a bundle of receipts for the materials. Like if you were just to look at those two pieces, that would be a time and materials. Cost plus is that with a fixed management fee on top of it. And that management, different guys handle this differently. It might be management of the job plus profit plus overhead, or it might just be one number where all of that is combined. Those are my quick definitions. Anything I missed there, Adam, that you want to add?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay, so I think that's the general understanding what the two choices are. We are a fixed bid company. We do that for a number of reasons. First and foremost, we feel that the cost plus model, there's a lot of trust baked into that. And we always go to a cost plus model with clients that we're doing our second or more projects for. So once we establish that trust on our first project together, then we're very comfortable moving into cost plus. We both have a feeling of how the other works, and I think that trust is there. But with a fixed bid, we are eliminating that trust element. It takes good estimating on our part, right, in order for us to cover our actual cost and succeed as a company. Um, and that's why we make that choice because it eliminates that sort of messy trust issue. When you're new to each other, people know what they're getting, and unless they make a change or we discover a change along the way, then they know what the cost of the project is. I'm going to let you jump in here too. I think this is more of a back and forth segment than usual.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, you covered the gist of it and how we operate and what homeowners can expect going in either direction. But yeah, ultimately, if you do that cost plus scenario, there is an opportunity to maybe have a bit of savings, right? When you do a fixed bid, right? You are generally trying to think of worst case scenarios. And for us, right, the fixed bid thing, I know that homeowners sometimes think, well, they're tacking on a lot of money to make up for any losses. There are areas where we certainly want to make sure we're protected on line items, but the truth is, bidding a job is complicated, and there's so much detail that goes into each individual line item that we price. And to be honest, some line items we do lose some money on, and some we might make a little bit more on. And in the end, as we kind of research our numbers after the fact, we always find that our markups are very consistent, and generally there's not any overage of too much or under amount. It kind of works itself out in the wash. So, for us, that's kind of how those fixed bids do end up working. But yeah, if you do a cost plus scenario, you are paying for those hours that are being utilized for labor, and you are paying for those materials plus what Pace said, the profit and the overhead. So there can be perhaps a little bit of savings in that, but again, the important thing is trust.
Yeah, I want to pick on one more thing here, and I started my definition of cost plus with time and materials. I think there's a large percentage of the population, homeowners, that feel that they should pay time and materials, right? Like, hey, I'm going to pay you a fair wage for your day's work, and then I'm going to buy or I'm going to pay for the actual cost of the materials. I think that you can get that with like a handyman or maybe even a solo carpenter. But when you're hiring a contractor that's trying to run a business, like, we're not trying to break even. Like, we're running a business. Like, profit is important to us, right? It allows us to grow. It allows us to develop as a company. And that brings many things for both us and our future clients. Um, so I think that distinction of what you're getting with somebody who is just billing for their day and there's no sort of long-term goal for what their company stands for and hopes to do. There's just a real difference there.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you should just have time and material out of your mind, and unless you are hiring that, I guess, that handyman guy that just wants, like you said, get paid by the hour and just pay for the materials with no markup. Yeah, just scrap that from your brain. But it looks like you're about to say something, Pace.
Well, yeah, I mean, this might be, I think that homeowners might find this informative. I know contractors will. Like, we have a goal, right? Like, you and I, multiple times a year, we're kind of sitting down and going through our costs, per project. We have a goal of making 10% in profit each year. And we track that, every job, every year, and we fall, usually within a percentage point of that number, and we make adjustments along the way. So COVID hit, material prices went up, it caught a lot of contractors off guard. You have to adjust your pricing for materials as the market changes, but we want to be able to track what our actual costs are, especially in a fixed bid situation, so that we're hitting our goals. And, like I said, that goal for us is a 10% profit margin. And so, you know, every year we have to rejigger our numbers a little bit just to make sure that we are on track as a company.
Yeah, I think as a homeowner, it's important to understand those numbers, and our 10% profit is right there in that same similar zone that I think most good contractors are trying to hit. And maybe we can just talk about those numbers. Every contractor does it a little bit differently, right? Some contractors will have a separate line item for management, and then they'll have profit and overhead at the end of their project. For us, all of our materials, we mark those up 20%. And that markup pays for Pace and I to manage the project. We could have a separate management fee in there, but that's how we choose to do it. It's just keeps things consistent, and we're open about that with our clients. And then that subtotal has a profit of 10%, like Pace said, and an overhead amount of 5% attached to it. So these are our numbers, and this is, I think, as a homeowner, something that you can expect, something to be in those ranges when you're talking to contractors.
Yeah, I one of my favorite quotes ever is by Tom Silva. I don't know if I'll get this exactly right, the number, but I don't know, 20 years ago on this old house, he was talking about material and he was talking about like managing a job site. He threw out this line that 80% of the job is moving materials around the project. It's mind blowing when you think about like how much product gets moved around during construction and how little time is actually the, let's say, nailing of a board, right? Like just the going to pick up material or having it dropped off and unloading it and staging it, right? And then taking it to the various rooms. There's so much time involved in the moving of that product. Like you said, we mark up a material 20%. It's for that reason. Just the handling of material, it takes so much time. Homeowners have this expectation that, oh, the board costs $10. I'm going to pay you $10, and the rest of it is, that's on you. So it's just very interesting, when you think about it that way.
Gosh, that moving of material around reminds me of working on the farm as a kid. The owner just had us moving stuff from one barn to the next. Okay, put all that in that barn. And then a week later, you know what? Let's move it out of that barn and move it into another barn. Oh man, those were the days. Anyway, I think we've tackled what we wanted to tackle on this segment. I hope it was helpful for any homeowners out there that are trying to understand these differences: cost plus, time and material, fixed bid. You got to do what's right for you, and now hopefully you have a better understanding.
Yeah.
Um, but let's okay, we're coming into our last segment, something interesting that is happening on a project. And what I'm going to talk about here actually applies to all of our jobs all the time, future jobs, past jobs, and it's about site prep and cleanup. And cleanup is the key word. We have a separate line item on our estimate always, and it's the first thing on our estimate, and it's for a large job, it's a large number, right? And it's maybe the most important line item on the entire estimate. Cleanup sets the tone for the project. If your job site is messy and subcontractors walk in and they see that mess, they're going to treat it the same way and they're going to make a mess. If they walk in and they see a clean job site, they're going to want to keep it clean. So this is something that we focus a lot on. We want to make sure that our job sites are neat and tidy for lots of reasons. One, safety. Two, setting the precedence for maintaining a clean site and organization. And also as an inspector doesn't want to come show up at a job and see just a disorderly job site. Sometimes homeowners see these line items and they're like, wow, that's a lot of money for cleanup. But there's a lot of time that goes into it. We spend anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes at the end of every day, really focusing on cleaning everything up nicely. And then at the end of the project, we do a professional clean at the end for our homeowner. So um, this is an important thing that you should know about as a homeowner. If you're questioning why maybe a line item is there that is maybe larger than you would expect, just know that a lot goes into that. We take pride in our clean job sites, and it's really important to us.
This is a 1-2 punch. Cleanliness and communication. I think that's our company. So when you say cleanliness, yeah, it's that sweeping up, it's that putting things back in toolboxes, just having an orderly, neat, clean job site. It's also protecting things that are on the job. So you mentioned site preparation. When we come in during a remodel, like let's say we're not touching the floors, we're coming in and we're papering floors, we're putting thermoply down on floors, we're protecting walls and areas that we walk through. Right. It's a lot of time and care so that we don't damage other items of the house that are meant to stay. Um, eh, yeah, like you said, it's line number one for a reason, that lets us talk about it first. We talk about how important it is. And I think for me, what it does is it shows our care for people's homes. And that's really important to how we succeed as a company.
Yeah, we're not just putting paper down on floors, right? There's more that goes into it. It's a multi-layered site protection attack, right? I mean, we're putting paper down first on our floors, and then on top of paper, we're putting down like a very dense, hard cardboard. Usually, it's thermoply. Um, it's just basically a high density cardboard, and that protects from tools hitting the floor and that sort of thing.
Once in a while, you and I get called in to consult on a another contractor's project. Like a homeowner might feel uncertain about something, and we'll get a phone call. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens a few times a year. It feels like, and we'll do a walkthrough just to say, hey, things are going right, things are going wrong. Pay attention to this, what have you. Um, when you walk onto a job site, you know immediately what type of contractor it is. Bad contractors run a messy job. Good contractors don't. There it
There you
is.
have it, folks.
Yeah, there you have it. Wood up.
Hello.
Yeah, I like the wood up. I think that's going to stick. I expect a national commercial to run soon.
And nice.
Um, and whatever royalties, it's a discussion.
I gotta
Uh,
get that going inside my house. I think they make their interior products, they have like this thick felt on the back. So not only is it beautiful, but it helps with dampening sound if you have high ceilings.
Filled up. No,
No,
sorry.
no, stick
All
with
right.
the
Well,
wood.
that's enough for today. Another great episode. Thank you, Adam. I'm Pace.
And I'm Adam.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Build Connected. For more stories, insights, and ideas, visit diamondhomerestoration.com or find us on Instagram and LinkedIn. We'll be back next week. We hope you will too.